very hard to be with you. It was really touch and go. I almost posted that tonight was going to be postponed because they've been doing work on our like ACs. We got a bunch of stuff done. It was like $1 million. It's a lot, but it's fine. It's gonna turn out like great. But anyway, because they've been working on the AC, they had to like redo some of the voltage. So a lot of it has been electrical work. That's the part that's actually super expensive. And like this is the second week in a row that I've come on here being like House Chronicles, and just know that it's not just like, oh, it coincidentally happened right before the stream. It's been literally 24/7. But it's fine. Everything's gonna turn out amazing. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. But anyway, they were doing a lot of electrical work, so they had to turn off the electricity in the house to put in a new circuit panel. And then side note, our house is kind of old. It looks very new, but it's kind of old. So while we were getting it done, like, shit's fucked up, let's fix it. Like, I'm not here to have shit be fucked up. So anywho, they had to turn off the electrical for a long time today. And our electrical was not on until probably 12 minutes ago. Because normally I eat dinner before I stream, but that just like didn't happen. So I was like, let me eat a snack before I hit my elbow on the corner. I was like, let me eat that hurt really bad. I was like, let me eat a snack before I stream. And when I went to open the fridge, it literally just came back on, and that was at like 6:45. I had some chips and salsa. Hee. So I knew that I had to be here tonight because like just the fact that the electric just got turned back on, like it was a sign. It was simply a sign. I was not here last night. Normally I stream on Tuesdays, but my cousin had a little like show thing at her school, and I really wanted to go to that because I haven't been able to go to like any of her stuff. And she's a very, very incredibly talented singer, and I've never seen her live because I'm the worst family member in America. And so I really wanted to go, and it was great. She was in a number of the performances because it was at a school, so it was like long. There's a lot of kids there. She was in multiple performances. She did great. It was really good to see her live. I'm so proud of her. It was really cute. And this topic I'm very excited about. This is not going to be like a serious vibe. Like if you came here to like find a man, this is probably not the place to find one. And this is what I will say. Why am I qualified to give this stream? Because if you look at my history of dating life, mistakes have been made. Mistakes have been made. But I might argue that someone who's always had a positive experience dating is not who should be giving advice. I've seen some shit. So, and then I also won dating. I'm getting married. So I won. I'm a winner. I won. So that's why I'm qualified. And I'm actually not really going to be giving this. Okay, I am going to be giving advice, but the slides are mainly other people's advice throughout history. And I'm going to be judging them, saying if I think that it's good advice or bad advice. Because I think that a lot of historic dating advice is horrible, but then sometimes you catch some gems. Same thing with modern advice. Most of it's horrible, but sometimes you catch some gems. So I feel like we might find some gems in the garbage. And I found the ultimate gem. So anyway, I'm very excited for tonight. The other thing, the AC is not on because the electrical guys finished, but the AC guys are not here because they finished their part long ago. They were on their shit. That part was done a while ago, but I get it. The electrical is a lot more complicated. So now the AC guys have to come back and plug the AC into the new electrical work and then like get it going. So there is air conditioning. Like this room is the hottest of the house, and it's probably 76, 77 in here if I had to guess. Like it's warm, but it's not unbearable. And this room is the hottest because the air conditioning in the downstairs works. So like it is getting up here. And this is the way it's also just kind of been the whole time. But it was it's worse because they had to turn the electric off. So like the house didn't have any AC going all day. But now the downstairs one is back on. Are we getting a gas stove though? Okay, so here's the situation with the gas stove. We are, but not right now, because when I wanted them to install the gas line for the stove and for the Blackstone, the guy like showed me how he could do it and where he could do it. And so it's a couple factors at play. The spot I wanted it, he can't do it he said he could if I also hired like a stonemason because it's a brick, and that's just like getting into territory I don't want to get into. So I was like, okay, that's not necessary. But he was like, and even if I could put it there, he was like, I don't think you should put it there because it's very close to your house. So if something happened, like, I just think you should put it a little bit further from your house. And I was like, okay, really valid point. And then he showed me where he thinks we should put it. And then when he showed me that, it really just got my wheels turning. And I want to put in like a deck or like an outdoor eating area out there. And that is a bigger, more expensive project. So when I thought about it, I was like, I don't want to put in a gas line and then I'm locked into that location, because then later if I want to do something differently. So I was like, I'm just going to wait until we do that bigger project and do it all at once. Partially because I think it'll just be easier, and I wanted to see how we live in the space, because, you know, sometimes you move differently than you think you will. And I'm sorry about the noises, they're still here. What else was I going to say? And then also because this AC work was like not 100% unexpected, but not 100% expected either. Like money wise, I was just like, that's not really the best use of my resources at this exact moment in time. So that's how I came to that decision. And then there was something else that I made a similar decision on that I was going to do, and then now I'm not, but I don't remember what it was. So yeah, some of the things that I said I was going to do, I ended up not doing, because I was like, I kind of want to live here for a while and see if the way I think I want to do it is actually the way I want to do it. And then some things that we were not anticipating doing needed to be done. So we're doing them. So things are just a little different than I expected. Oh, also, let me update you guys who were here last week about I'm like so squirming today. Last week when I was on here, the sink had literally just like exploded. Like water was coming out everywhere. It ended up being no big deal at all. It was $150 to fix it. The thing that connects the like drain pipe to the actual drain was missing a piece. So that's why it fell off. So we just had to get the piece and a plumber put it. It was like very anticlimactic, which was a welcome, easy project. But yeah, I'm just really ready for the construction to be over with, because it's like not super fun to be around. But I will say everyone we've had working has been like really nice and really respectful, and really like they put shoe covers on. They've been super nice. Like it's been as a positive of an experience as it can. But you know, just living in construction is like not the most fun in the world, and it always ends up taking longer and being more expensive, which happened. Because you know, when they told us, they're like, it was a one-day job. And they said they need to come back tomorrow, and this is now day 3. And like, it's fine. Just be honest. I always feel like they give you best case scenario, and I want worst case scenario. Dude, why did that literally happen to me too? Why are the previous owners taking the butts of pipes with them? Well, it's also, we bought this house from a flipper, so we like kind of knew some shit was gonna be fucked up. So that's what I was saying. It was expected, but not fully expected. When we bought it, we both said like, it's an older house, a flipper flipped it, something expensive is gonna break. And we like budgeted for something expensive breaking. And then it turns out nothing broke, but just basically it's an old house that now we have better HVAC technology. And so it could be way better than it was. And we were like, I don't like being hot and sweaty. And they told us like, oh, you could get a window unit, you could get these mobile ACs. But I was kind of like, let's just fucking go for it, man. Like, let's just get shit rocking. Like, I want that air pumping, because I also am a very hot sleeper, so I wanted it to be nice and cool. And I am going to make a YouTube video detailing all of this long form. I'm not even going to fucking lie to you and tell you it's coming next week or anything like that. Probably won't be till school is out, and when do we get out? At the very end of May, like after Memorial Day. We have a couple days after Memorial Day. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into our chat tonight, dating advice through time. So again, some of this is my take on other people's, and then some of it will actually be just mine. And obviously everything I'm going to say tonight is from my perspective. Like, I'm a straight woman marrying a straight man, and I've only dated in that context. So like, if you thought that I was going to give you like incredible dating advice for like I don't know, like a lesbian throuple or something, I don't know, like that's not the expertise that I have. There's lots of lovely people online that can give you expertise in those areas. So yeah, this will be from my perspective. So if I say something and you're like, well, that's not true for likely that this wouldn't be true for everyone. So we're going to start in the 1920s. I was going to start earlier, but it was just too depressing. I was like, let's start. And also, I'm an American. A lot of what I talk about is from an America perspective and America history, sorry. So I was like, let's start from where women can vote, because women could vote other places a lot sooner than they could in America. I was actually just watching Boardwalk Empire. Very good show. Don't spoil it for me. And there's a woman in the show who's Irish. She's from Ireland. And they were talking about women voting. And she was like, women in Ireland can already vote. In most civilized countries, women can vote. Because men were like, oh, you couldn't vote because it would be too hard for you and you would be stressed. And she was like, I would not. So that's why I started in the 1920s. So the 1920s was a decade of profound cultural and social change in America, often referred to as the Roaring Twenties, with the flapper symbol. You guys know the 1920s look. Young women broke away from traditional norms with their bold-fashioned behavior and attitudes towards relationships. This is also why I started with the 1920s, because that is kind of when it became more normalized for women to pick their own partner. Before this, that was not as common, especially if you were wealthy, ironically. Also, I'm dead in the chat. Lesbians are taking the L tonight. If anything, I think you guys are taking the W, because you're going to get to see what straight women are putting up with. And it might make you feel good about your situation. That would be my assumption, but I wouldn't know. So anyway, if you were poor, no one really gave a shit about who you married, because there wasn't really an inheritance or property at stake. But if you were rich, no, you do not get to pick who you marry. So before the 1920s, courtship was a formal, family-centered process, typically leading straight to marriage. Dates were often supervised, and young women were expected to behave modestly. I don't know what they would have done with me. I have no idea what they would have done with me. With short bobbed hair, knee-length skirts, and a preference for jazz music and nightclubs, flappers represented a freer and more independent womanhood. Flappers embraced the idea of dating for fun, not just for marriage, and that is really new. In the 1800s, dating was to find you a partner to be married. We poors need some wins. Yeah, valid. That's one of the pros. There's no one to fight over your inheritance and treat you like an object if you don't have an inheritance. It's ironically freeing. They openly flirted, went on casual dates, and sometimes even kissed boys without the expectation of commitment. That was considered scandalous to older generations. They really did not like that. Dating shifted from being a serious courtship-based activity to one of leisure and social life. So pre-1920s, think the Duggars. Dating is to get married, and you do these short courtships, and as long as nothing crazy happens, you get married. That's the plan. So here are the fits. The girlies are drinking. The girlies are partying. I love this for them. Let's get into the advice they're giving women. If you need a brassiere, wear one. Why is the advice the same as today? Don't tug at your girdle, and be careful your stockings are not wrinkled. I don't think a man would notice wrinkled stockings. I'm going to be honest. I don't think this is very good advice. I don't think it's bad advice. I don't think it's going to hurt your chances, but I just feel like this isn't where your head needs to be. So, eye flirtation. Winking the right eye means I love you. Winking the left eye means I hate you. My question is, my left or theirs? If I blink, does that just mean I fucking hate you so much? Winking both eyes, so blinking, means yes. Winking both eyes at once. Oh, I guess winking both eyes is you do one, and then you do two. And both eyes at once is blinking. We are watched. What does that mean? We're watched? Winking the right eye twice. I am engaged. Winking the left eye twice. I am married. Dropping the eyelids. May I kiss you? Is that dropping the eyelids? You look at it as... Is that what that is? I think I'd get in trouble with these blinking codes. I'm not socially skilled enough for this. Raising eyebrows. Kiss me. Closing the left eye slowly. Try and love me. Try, motherfucker. Do you have this as a pamphlet? In your sleeve? How do you know this? Closing the right eye slowly. You are beautiful. Covering both eyes with both hands. Bye-bye. Placing the right forefinger to the right eye. Do you love me? Placing the left forefinger to the left eye. May I see you home? I don't understand this. Placing right forefinger to the left eye. You are handsome. Placing left third finger which way? To the left eye. So are you. Placing the right little finger to the right eye. Aren't you ashamed? What? This is nothing. This is literally nothing. This advice is horrible. This is what women had in the 1920s? No wonder they were kissing strangers. Y'all were not serving anything. So let's move on to the 1930s. If you don't know about the 1930s, there was the Great Depression, so probably is going to have an impact on the dating life. My skin is so dry. I thought of this pod. I really want this pod. I think I've told you guys this before. You get in, and it's just like a pod, and you have different things it can spray on you, like lotion, spray tan, sunscreen, anything like aloe. And you have little like cartridges that go in the pod, kind of like how for a Keurig you can like get whatever you want for it. Like those go in the pod and then it sprays you. And maybe it can be like, you know those people that have the like office water things in their house? You don't pay for the machine. If you subscribe to the water, they give you the machine for free. Free. You're paying for it with the expensive ass water delivery service. But I want that business model for my pods. So, dating in the 1930s looked quite different from the once free-spirited scene of the Roaring 20s. Did you guys see that video the other day? It's that girl who like holds her phone up like this and talks like kind of like, she says like bimbo-esque, but she's actually super smart. If you guys know what I'm talking about. She posted a video that I saw recently that was like basically saying that the economy has like an impact on dress, and like people dress more conservatively when the economy is bad, and that's why like the trad aesthetic is in right now. What's glow tanning? I need to go there. I called every single Planet Fitness in my area and none of them have spray tans. I was going to join a Planet Fitness just for the spray tans, and all of them were like, but we have the tanning beds and they're great too. And I was like, you're trying to give me skin cancer and I'm going to block you. So anyway, the Great Depression had a massive impact on American life. During the Depression, many young people delayed marriage because they could not afford it. A date that once may have involved fancy dinners or nightclubs in the 1920s now had to be cheap or free. Typical dates might include going for a walk. I've seen worse. Sharing an ice cream soda at a drugstore counter, or attending free community events or dances. While the 1920s had embraced casual dating and playing the field, the 1930s saw a shift back towards steady relationships. Going steady means dating one person exclusively. Is this show about us? Became more common. If in tough times, having a dependable partner was seen as smart and desirable, and young couples often stayed together for long periods before marriage. Very interesting. This is why I wanted to talk about this tonight. And there's some photos. They don't look like they're poor. They look like they're having kind of a nice time. Here's the advice. Don't talk about clothes or try to describe your new gown to a man. Please and flatter your date by talking about the things that he wants to talk about. This guy looks like a loser. This guy looks like a fucking loser. Don't be familiar with your escort by caressing him in public. Men love that shit. What she's doing right now, he's lying. Any open show of affection is in bad taste and usually embarrasses or humiliates them. Don't listen to this. Do not listen to this. Look at his stupid little face. She's beautiful. He should be so lucky she's touching his ear. That is so me. The way that she's sitting right now, that is literally me at any given moment. That's me in my classroom. That's me right now. Like, one of my legs is up on the table. I'm sitting like Melissa McCarthy right now. Like, I'm literally sitting in like a comical fashion. Don't sit in awkward positions and never look bored. Even if you are. Be alert. And if you must chew gum, not advised, do it silently, mouth closed. It is strict as fuck around here. It is strict as fuck around here. God. So, obviously we don't have that much information from this time. That's why these are kind of quick for the older ones. He's badly scared. Dear Miss Blake, I was going with a fellow. This is like an advice column. I told him I loved him. Now he doesn't talk to me, not even to say hello. He's been scared so badly that he doesn't even dare to speak to you. Too bad you use such poor technique, honey. Next time you fall in love, be more cagey. The successful girls with boys is she just keeps them wondering, how does she feel? This advice was presented very bitchily, but it is kind of good. Like, I'm going to say, Miss Blake might have had a point with this one. Like, you don't have to be a bitch, but you don't have to be not a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Ghosted IRL. Getting ghosted back then seems way fucking worse. Dear Miss Blake, I am a widow in love with a man 15 years younger. Scandal. He asked me to marry him, but I have not given him an answer. Do you think we could be happy? I need to know everyone's ages immediately. This is why I'm anti-dating culture, because every one of these feels like literally don't be a human being at all. Exactly. And my biggest piece of advice for dating, and when so many of my female students are like, oh my God, I like this guy, what do I do? I'm like, literally ignore him and do whatever you want. Ignore him and do whatever you want and have fun. Couple reasons. One, you'll be able to see if he genuinely likes you, because if you're not being yourself, it's never going to be good because you're not getting a true read on each other because you're not being yourself. Two, people want to be around people that are having fun and like being themselves. Like, that's the best way to get people to like you, is to have fun and be yourself, you know? So I think a lot of dating advice goes against have fun and be yourself, but that's like really the best way to get anything done, is to have fun and be yourself. Miss Blake seems kind of negative. Lighten up, girl. I'm kind of obsessed with Miss Blake. She is like a massive bitch, but I think that women didn't have anyone else at the time. And Miss Blake, MISS, so she didn't win, so I don't know if she's qualified. So anyway, the lonesome widow. What's the advice? I think it's fine. I really want to know everyone's ages, though. This is what Miss Blake has to say. The cards are stacked pretty much against you with such an age disparity. Can't you find a man your own age or a couple of years older? Miss Blake is a bitch. God. So the 1940s. America's been attacked at Pearl Harbor, and you have the audacity to go on a date? How dare you? So dating in the 1940s was deeply shaped by World War II and its aftermath. This time reflected uncertainty, patriotism, and emotional intensity of the era. People wanted a partner because they're scared. With millions of young men leaving for military service overseas, dating took on quite a sense of urgency in the 1940s. Couples often fell in love quickly, got engaged within weeks or months, and married before the man shipped out. War marriages were common, with many people feeling that life was too unpredictable to wait, coupled with the fact that because of the Great Depression, people had waited. So this is why I think it's really interesting that we have this narrative that people used to get married so quick, and it's definitely true in a lot of senses, but that is not true as a blanket statement, like literally. Like, it's not like it got slowly longer over time. It's changed throughout time for various historic reasons. I look crazy with my hair like that. I want to do like, my hair's too like long to do what I want with it. I'm getting a haircut in like a week because it's kind of have dead ends. But anyway, war marriages were common. Also, like if you were trying to get that money, like it's understandable. Meanwhile, women took on new roles at home, working in factories, think Rosie the Riveter, and contributing to the war effort. Yet they also kept up with social traditions, including dances and USO, United Service Organizations, events where soldiers could meet local women. USO dances were hugely popular places for dating and quick romances. Ooh, a quick romance at the USO dance. How scandalous. Yeah, that's literally just gonna fall again. It's over. Cut the cameras. Ow. I hate when my hair gets at a length where it's hard to put up. It's really annoying. So, with so many couples separated by war, letter writing became essential to dating and courtship. Sweethearts wrote long emotional letters, sometimes carrying on entire relationships through mail. Long distance original. Many engagements and even marriages were largely based on these letter exchanges, with couples sometimes only knowing each other briefly in person before being separated. Kind of a risk. As someone who's attempted the long distance thing, you always this is the problem with long distance. I think long distance can only work if you have a very solid foundation of a relationship before the distance, because otherwise you're not actually falling in love with that person. You're falling in love with the idea of that person and that person's words. You're not falling in love with their action, and you're not falling in love with the way they interact with you on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of times I feel like long distance relationships that are long distance from the beginning, I'm not saying this for everyone, but it's just been my experience, they're very conducive to like mismatched expectations and mismatched perceptions, just because it's hard with distance. So when soldiers returned home after 1945, there was a major shift towards settling down. This is also when you had the baby boom, the GI Bill. So the GI Bill that pays for college, you used to be able to use it to buy a home. You could use it to get a mortgage. So the post-war years sparked a massive wave of marriages and the beginning of the baby boom. Dating in the late 1940s focused heavily on finding a spouse quickly. Stability, family life, and home ownership became the dream. This is also when the suburbs became a thing. So everyone was like, I want a house, I want a wife, I want 2 children, I want a white picket fence, and I want a car. That was the vision. This is advice on where to find him. Get a dog and walk it. That is actually not bad advice. I know multiple people that did that and ended up finding someone. Have your car break down at strategic places. That's really manipulative and I like it. Number 3, attend night school. Take courses men like. This is good advice. I think some of us should be following this today. Like, I could give this to people now. Join a hiking club. Look at a census report for the places with the most single men. Nevada has 125 males for every 100 females. Some of these are risky, but this is advice for people that are not here to fucking play. Like, this is high risk, high reward. Like, this is advice for people that are here to get shit done, which is reflected of the 1940s. They're saying, like, it was a lot of urgency to find a spouse. This is, like, time's ticking, sister. Fake a car accident. Slash your own tires. Like, the urgency is palpable? That's how you say that. Like, read a census report, move to Nevada. You don't want to move to Nevada? So you don't want a husband. If you won't move to Nevada, you don't actually want a husband. The census tip, me laughing while I open the census website. Being alone with men, though, yeah. Read the obituaries and find eligible widowers. Again, this is not advice for people looking to have fun. This is advice for people looking to get a fucking ring. Take up golf and go to different golf courses. Some of this is still good advice. Take several short vacations at different places rather than one long one at one place. Sit on a park bench and feed the pigeons. Take a bicycle trip through Europe. Europe was literally just ripped apart by Hitler's army. I don't think Europe's in a place for a bicycle trip. Get a job in a medical, dental, or law school. Because remember, you couldn't go. It's the 1940s and we're women, so we're not going, but we can work there. Become a nurse or an airline stewardess. They have very high marriage rates. Ask your friends' husbands who the eligible men are in their office. Like I said, I think this is good advice. I'm not going to disagree with anything on this list. I'm not going to tell you that they're all going to get you a great husband, but this will get you a husband. So moving into the 1950s, during the 1950s, dating wasn't just about having fun. It was often still seen as a direct path to marriage. Young people, especially women, were encouraged to marry well and settle down early. I wonder what American dating culture would look like today if the Great Depression and World War II never happened. I think that's a very interesting question to ask. Many women married in their late teens or early 20s, and it wasn't unusual for high school sweethearts to wed soon after graduation. Michelle Duggar type beat. For men, being a good provider was emphasized. A man's career prospects and financial stability were important factors in how desirable he was as a potential husband. Dating followed clear steps and rules. Group dating was very common at first. Boys and girls would go out together in larger groups to dances, football games, soda shops, or the movies. I think this is very good, especially for young people. I think when teenagers go on a first date and it's just 2 of them, it's incredibly awkward and strange. I think the group date is great for especially like high school, college age people. Going steady meant a couple was exclusive. This is often marked by the boy giving a girlfriend a token like his class ring, Letterman jacket, or a bracelet. Meeting the parents was a big deal and often expected once a relationship became serious. Proposals often came relatively quickly, sometimes within a year or two of steady dating. How to let him know you're there. What does that mean? Stumble when you walk into the room that he's in. Forget discretion every once in a while and call him up. Carry a hat box. Wear a Band-Aid. People always ask what happened. Make a lot of money. Is this like how to make him notice you? I think it's how to make him notice you, because how to let him know you're there. Make a lot of money. That's a lot easier than it sounds, especially for a woman in the 1950s. They're like, be rich. Had you tried that? Learn several funny stories and learn to tell them well, but make sure you don't tell him more than once. Walk up to him and tell him that you need some advice. This has to be a Band-Aid. So basically, key advice was to be a pick-me girly. Pretty much. That's kind of what I'm gathering here. So, this is a long-ass list. Point out to him that the death rate of single men is twice that of married men. They said use facts to manipulate him. Ask your mother to take in male boarders. Ride the airport bus back and forth from the air. Actually, I'm going to go in order because I want to read all of these. Make your home comfortable when he calls. Large ashtrays, comfortable chairs. Oh, when he calls, like you have a gentleman caller, like he's there to come get you. Learn to play poker. If he's rich, tell him you like his money. The honesty will intrigue him. I think that's good advice. Never let him believe your career is more important to you than marriage. I don't think that's good advice. I think you should always tell him that your career is more important, and if he ever impedes you, you'll leave him. Buy him an amusing or particularly appropriate present every once in a while, but don't make it too expensive. Clip and mail him a funny cartoon that means something to both of you. Don't tell dirty stories. Oh. Stop being a mama's girl. Don't let him think he'll have in-law trouble, even if you know he will. This is kind of funny. Go to Yale. Go to Yale. Let's put that in the same category as make a lot of money. Like, you're a woman in the 1950s. Go to Yale, bitch. Get a hunting license. If your mother is fat, tell him you take after your father. If he's fat too, tell him you're adopted. Stow away on a battleship. You might get murdered if you do that. Rent a billboard and post your picture and telephone number on it. That would work. I don't know who it would attract, but I can certainly tell you it'll attract somebody. Paint your name and number on a roof and say, give me a buzz, pilots. That's fucking funny. Start a whispering campaign on how sought after you are. Sink at a fashionable beach at high noon. Drown. They're like fake drown at noon. Hot people will be there. Ride the airport bus back and forth from the airport. Bribe a Ferris wheel operator to get you stuck on the top of a Ferris wheel. But you need the guy there first. I don't like that one. Stand on a busy street corner with a lasso. Carry a camera and ask strange, handsome men if they would mind snapping your picture. Ask your mother to take in male boarders. Make and sell toupees. Bald men are easy catches. Advertise for a male co-owner of a boat. If you see a man with a flat, offer to fix it. No. What do I look like? Fixing a man's tire? No. I wouldn't even fix my own tire. Carry a tow chain in the trunk of your automobile. Let it be known in your office that you have a button box and will sew on bachelor's loose buttons. If you're married, I'm not helping you with your fucking buttons. Don't marry him if he has too many loose buttons. That's supposed to be like a funny mental health joke. So the 1950s seem pretty fucking bleak. Pretty not good. Fix a flat, especially during this time. Chivalry was dead back then too. Maybe chivalry was the female friendships we made along the way. Moving on to the 1960s. Somehow I don't think this will be that much better, but I guess this is when they got birth control. So, as the 1960s progressed, society changed dramatically and so did dating. The sexual revolution helped with the invention of the birth control pill in 1960, challenged traditional ideas about sex and relationships. Premarital sex became more common, though still controversial. The rise of feminism encouraged women to seek more control over their dating lives, and they began to challenge the idea that they had to wait for men to make the first move. Counterculture movements like hippies and the anti-war protest promoted ideas of free love, non-traditional relationships, and rejecting the establishment. Cohabitation was once extremely rare, but it began to increase, especially at the end of the 1960s. That's living together before marriage. I cannot imagine marrying someone you never lived with. That's kind of diabolical to me. Dating became less about strict rules and more about personal freedom, self-expression, and emotional connection. Popular trends in 1960s dating. Music festivals like Woodstock became social hubs for young people to meet. Coffee houses and poetry readings were trendy spots for intellectual and romantic conversations. Political activism brought people together. Sometimes this happened through civil rights marches, anti-war protest, or feminist groups. And going Dutch, which is splitting the bill, started to gain wider acceptance, especially among more progressive couples. Not to me. So, political clubs. Pretty swinging usually. The fellows are there to get a candidate elected, and you're there to pick one out for you. These partisan groups can be a lot of fun, even if they are overstaffed, especially in a big election year. Don't wait for that, however. Call the Republican or Democratic headquarters, both if you have no scruples. They said, listen, your call, in your city and ask what organized group you might join. I think that's good advice. I think joining a political group to make friends or meet a partner, like at least you know they're going to be kind of like-minded to you, but you should probably like actually do some political work as well. Wear a lapel pin with a message printed on it. I'm serious about this. I have 3. One says, I have gray hair, brown eyes, and a black heart. It's always been a smash hit. Another carries the Ladies' Home Journal slogan, never underestimate the power of a woman. Another, which I thought was very clever at the time, although nobody gets it, and I'm not sure I do either, says, fight that will power. I don't think I get it either. Once people see writing on you, they won't rest until they've read it. Total strangers will put on glasses to make the grade, and after that, they almost have to say something to you to not be rude. Any silversmith in town can make you up your favorite slogans, or you can write to Alan Alder, 8626 Sunset Boulevard, Los Angeles, who made my pins. They are of heavyweight wrought silver and cost about $18 a piece. That's expensive as shit. Well worth it, and are about the size of a silver dollar. You can make up your own messages. Lapel pins were the water bottle stickers of the time. A loaded charm bracelet is a conversation piece. By the time you've explained what all the charms represent, you're on friendly enough terms. Driving in heavy traffic offers possibilities. Leave the window rolled down of your side and always look interestedly at the next car. It might be impossible. If the snarl is severe enough, you might become acquainted after several shared stops at red lights. Okay. I don't really like that much of that advice either. They had me with the political groups, but they kind of lost me with everyone else. Moving on to the 1970s. These continued radical changes that started in the 60s, but by this point, the rules of dating were almost completely rewritten. It was a decade marked by freedom, individual choice, and experimentation. The sexual revolution that began in the 60s exploded in the 70s thanks to the wide availability of birth control, the shift in cultural attitudes, and dating was no longer automatically tied to marriage or even long-term commitment. People, especially in urban areas and on college campuses, felt freer to date multiple people, live together without marrying, and explore their sexuality. Casual dating became the norm among many adults, and the idea of playing the field wasn't just accepted, it was expected. While there were no dating apps yet, we saw the early forms of technology-assisted dating. Personal ads in newspapers and magazines became a popular way for singles to meet. Video dating services, where people recorded short video profiles and choose dates based on tapes, started popping up in cities. Singles bars also became a feature of the dating scene, casual places where unattached people could meet, drink, dance, and flirt. Dating in the 1970s reflected the casual, experimental mood of the time. Popular activities included going to discos like Studio 54, dancing to disco music, concerts, road trips, camping, movies, edgier films that tackle social issues, more protest and political rallies. Keep in mind, Vietnam War era civil rights work was very active in the 60s and 70s. And then coffee house meetups or casual dinners. So the 70s sound lit. If I had to go back to any time period, like if I had to live at another time, like I had to live at a time before I was born, I think I would choose to be born in the like mid-late 60s and grow up in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, that's what I would choose, I think. Loving gestures. He needs to be made to feel cherished, beloved, and adored to distraction too. Here are 25 ways to sweetly stroke the man in your life and let him know he's your special baby. Except I'm not your mother. You're not a baby. You're a man. You're a full-grown man. Points if you know what that's from. Next time he slips up and says something slightly chauvinistic, forego World War III counterattacks. You lost me. First bullet and you lost me. Also, kind of soon after World War II to be making jokes. Treat him to his own beauty afternoon. Facial massage and manicure by your own gifted fingers. I'm simply not doing that. Issue one veto that allows him skipping one of the ballets he dreads. Take a girlfriend instead. Throw a party to celebrate his birthday, promotion, or new Porsche. Why would I throw you a party for your car? The birthday and promotion, I'll give you that. That is a nice thing to do for your partner. But a car? Say nice things to his plants. I do that. Pack a survival kit full of munchies. Tinned sardines, red caviar, dilly beans, and peanut brittle. Ew. Plus a jar of instant coffee to help him through an office late-nighter. Do not mention any premarital, extramarital, or unmarital affairs you have ever had, are having, or expect to have, no matter the circumstances. That feels really specific. I'll try. Get that rhubarb pie recipe from his mother and make one for him. No. Transform a portrait of yourself into a jigsaw puzzle and put it in the mail for him. Possibly creepy. Give him a McDonald's gift certificate. Why would I give him a gift? Along with tickets to his favorite team's last home game of the season. All of these are kind of expensive. Kind of expensive options here. Cherish his parents, child, children, and or puppy. That's pretty nice. Give him a private fashion show in your newest sexy lingerie. Okay, like, cool. Some of these I'm agreeing with. I'm not a cynic. Send him a dozen long-stemmed roses anonymously. What if he doesn't tell you, though? Then what? I think the puzzle is good if you're already in a relationship. I think if you're not, the puzzle's creepy. Take pictures of yourself in one of those funny little booths and distribute them in surprise places. Medicine cabinet, glove compartment, and under his pillow. The next rainy Saturday or Sunday, have an indoor picnic at your place. Accept his compliments graciously with a simple, thank you, darling, and perhaps a little kiss. Practice. That is really good advice. One thing that women have really been trained to do that you really have to beat out of yourself is to reject compliments. Like, people will be like, oh, your hair looks really good. And people will be like, oh, I haven't even brushed it. Like, they kind of negate a compliment when it's given to them, when it is a much better human interaction if you just graciously say thank you. And that is especially true when men are giving you compliments. When men are giving you compliments, if you try and negate what they say, it like throws them off. They don't like it. Just say thank you. Be like, thank you. That was so nice of you. That, I think, is very good advice, actually. Make quarts of his favorite soup, chili, or casserole and put it in his freezer for weekends when you're out of town. If he doesn't already have it, gift wrap your apartment key and present it to him after lovemaking. Very specific. It has to be after. What if it's bad? Do you wait for another time to give it to him or no? Volunteer to watch a great game on TV that he'll have to miss. Take notes so you can tell him key plays in detail. I don't think my notes would be good. When you know he's going to have a particularly long and stressful day, make his most adored dessert and serve with champagne when he comes home. That's nice. Some of these are really nice things to do for your partner. Like, to make them a dessert and have champagne when they get home from a long day of work. That's nice. I would be happy if someone did that for me. I would probably do that for somebody. Ask him to co-host a party with you, then see the guests that he likes outnumbers friends of yours that he may find boring. No. Send him a homemade Valentine anytime. I like that. Greet him with lavish affection in private, sophisticated admiration in public. Invite him to a private bubble bath party. Accept him as he is. I give this list like a 6 out of 10. Like, I feel like a lot of these things were nice and normal and cool. Some of them seem like a lot of work and like they probably aren't deserved. But overall, I liked it. I hope men are reading columns like this about how to be a good partner. In my America, they will be. They will be. This will be required reading at the men's education centers when I'm in charge. Moving on to the 1980s. During the 1980s, casual dating was common, but the era brought out a slight return to traditional dating values. Many people still dated around before settling down, but there was a renewed focus on finding a serious relationship by the late 20s or early 30s. The high divorce rates from the 70s made some young adults very cautious. They wanted love, but they also wanted stability. In the 1980s, career ambition was a huge cultural force. Both men and women were focusing on establishing themselves professionally before thinking seriously about marriage. Women were now more likely than ever to have college degrees and careers, and dating had to fit into busy, ambitious lifestyles. This sometimes delayed marriage and made dating more about balancing romance and career goals. Having it all, a thriving career, a happy relationship became ideal, but it was not always easy to achieve. Technology began changing how people dated. Answering machines and beepers allowed for more flexible communications and a lot of people nervously waiting for callbacks. Personal ads were still popular, so were magazines. Early computer dating services grew. Primitive matching systems based on questionnaires became a novel way for singles to connect. Single events, speed dating parties, and professional matchmaking services became more common for busy urbanites. Urbanites are people that live in cities. Movies like 16 Candles, Say Anything, and When Harry Met Sally portrayed different versions of love and dating, from teen crushes to complex adult friendships turning romantic. The rise of yuppie culture, yuppie is young urban professionals, it's my garage, sorry, also influenced dating, success, image, and lifestyle, often played into romantic appeal. How to be popular with boys, Stacey Rubis. Don't take any chances when getting ready in the morning. Always put effort into looking good. Effort, plain effort, is often the only real difference between average and stunning girls. I think that this is partially true in the sense that, like, with enough effort, anyone can be hot, but I completely disagree with this. I think that you should, this is like what I do for myself. So when I say you should, I mean I should. I never wear makeup. I used to be really insecure about my skin because I had terrible acne, and I would wear makeup every single day. It made my skin a lot worse. And then if I didn't have makeup on, I felt like I didn't look like myself. And that's a really weird trap to get into mentally when you feel like the makeup you're wearing and the effort you put in is a part of your identity. What I think the best way to go is to find low effort things that you can do consistently that really, really make you feel like you like the way you look. So for me, that's like lashes. I do them myself. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty easy. And I usually have them on. I don't wear any makeup other than that, but like that makes me feel very put together. So now on the rare occasion that I gotta put my face on is actually so sad. That's what I mean. So now on the rare occasion that I do wear makeup, it feels very like special to me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like glammed up. When I previously remember, like when I would wear makeup every day and then I would do my makeup for like an event like prom or a birthday or something like that, I didn't really feel that different. But now when I wear makeup, it's actually a little more like exciting, and I feel like people notice it a lot. Like if I wear makeup, it's very noticeable to people because they're not used to seeing me with makeup on. And also, most men I have met them at my absolute ugliest. Not my fiance, because we went on like a date. Like he called me. He got my number and then called me. No text, no, just called me on up. Why don't you just call Taylor up? And he said, are you free on Friday? I want to take you on a date. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess. Because this was my logic when I like left the relationship I was in a long time ago and started dating again. I was like, I've made horrible choices, so I'm just gonna like do whatever, because clearly my instincts have led me astray. So I was like, I'm gonna just do things that I wouldn't normally do, and it worked out because I won. It's so fucking hot in here. I'm so sweaty. I'm gonna have to take another shower. But yeah, so he did I wear makeup on our first date? I don't know. But yeah, but there's this one guy I dated for a while when I was like 18. And he met me at my most disgusting, most disgusting possible. I was working at a restaurant, not showering daily because I was disgusting and working 13 hours a day. And I just didn't give a shit because I'd shower and then just be disgusting the next day. So what was the point? And then no makeup, sweating every day in khakis and a green polo. And that's how I met that guy. And I always tell that story to my students when they feel the need to like make themselves look so perfect. I'm like, listen, you can be at your ugliest, your lowest down, and someone will find you hot. I guarantee it. But yeah, Mr. Redacted being like formal first date on the first go, a lot of my friends were like, that's so weird. He's going to kill you. And I was like, no, I think you guys have just been suffering for too long. I think this is actually normal. I think this is like what mature men do. Like mature men that like have clarity on their thoughts. Like I think this is how they treat women. Maybe. And then it was. Okay, this is How to Read a Woman Like a Book from 1987. We're not going to watch the whole thing because I think it might kill me.
What if you and I met at a bar and I was sitting...
Who is that? I feel like I know her.
Would you think that I was trying to get your attention? You're not sure? Well, what if I did this? Or what if I did this? Would you think that I was trying to ask you out? Or would you think that I was ready to just jump in your lap? Or have your babies?
Who said that?
Well, sweetie, you've got a lot to learn.
I think I do. I'm really confused. Okay. Interesting. I was entranced until the baby's comment. You lost me. You had me and you lost me. TV used to be so much more boring than it is now. Get to the point. Give me the advice. I love the hair in this era, though. Big fan of it. I just know Brittany Bateman was first in line to audition for this. Stop. A Real Housewives of Salt Lake City sprinter van. Okay, is this just 14 minutes of footage of people at a bar? Okay, no, I think they're getting somewhere.
I saw this guy. He was so cute.
What should I get for
He
dinner?
had this goofy smile, like Danny Kaye. And he was tall and lanky and innocent like Jimmy Stewart.
Why is it a musical? Why not?
I smiled at him from across the room and turned my chair in his direction and kicked off my shoe. Do you think he noticed?
Why would you take your shoe
You're
off?
so thick. He doesn't even know that I'm alive.
I don't really think I like KFC. I don't like bones and
Beautiful.
meat.
Sally Field's smile.
Oh, they're both thinking about each
Silver
other.
Shepherd's legs.
Okay, I'm kind of over this now. Moving on to the 1990s. So dating in the 90s reflected a world that was becoming increasingly connected, casual, and diverse. It was a decade of transition. Technology started creeping into dating life, and traditional expectations continued to loosen, and figuring yourself out became a bigger priority than rushing into marriage. In short, 1990s dating was all about freedom, exploration, and finding the right match, but on your own terms. I am flirting with the idea of Taco Bell. Sorry, I keep burping. It's from the water. So, compared to earlier decades, people in the 1990s were getting married later. Many chose to focus on college, building careers, traveling, or personal growth before settling into long-term commitments. It wasn't unusual for people to stay single well into their late 20s or 30s, a big change from the fast track to marriage seen in the earlier in the 20th century. The 90s were a turning point for technology because of AOL chat rooms, ICQ, and other early messaging platforms that allowed people to meet online for the first time. Dating websites like Match.com, which launched in 1995, offered new, though still somewhat taboo, ways to meet partners. I think Match.com is still taboo. I don't think they ever freed themselves of that. But don't they own a bunch of the apps like Tinder and stuff like that, or did I make that up? People started forming romantic relationships over long distances thanks to email, instant messaging, and online forums. I've already spoken on my thoughts about that. Pop culture in the 90s reflected the era's complicated approach to love. TV shows like Friends, Beverly Hills 90210, and Sex and the City portrayed dating as messy, humorous, and a sometimes heartbreaking journey. I love Sex and the City. It's horrible. I eat it up every time. Romantic comedies like Sleepless in Seattle, Clueless. Why does she end up dating the brother in Clueless? Sorry if I spoiled it for you, but it came out in 1995. Can we discuss that? Why does she end up dating her brother and it's considered a romantic comedy? I'm not laughing. And 10 Things I Hate About You. I do like that movie. They captured romance and the confusion of finding love. It can be confusing when you're dating your stepbrother. I don't care if it's her stepbrother. That's her brother. Like, I don't care. Like, that's your fucking brother. The grunge and alternative music scenes reflected a moodier, less fairy tale view of relationships than in the past decades. So, this is some of the advice. First impressions are everything. Make sure you dress nice. You never know who you'll run into. If you like someone, don't call them right away. Wait a couple days so you don't seem desperate. The guy should make the first move. It's just how it works. Let him chase you. I'm very traditional in this sense, and I kind of agree with that. This is the funny thing about me and Mr. Redacted is, I don't remember when this was. This was a while ago, like a couple months ago maybe. That I was saying how, like, when we were first dating, I felt like he was, like, chasing me and, like, obsessed with me. And, like, that's what I liked. I was like, yeah, and that, like, made me keep talking to him. And he was like, you were chasing me. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you would send me, like, memes on Instagram. And I was like, this girl's obsessed with me. And I was like, yeah, that's special. Because I really didn't feel that way. Like, I didn't feel that sending a meme was like chasing. I was just like, oh, fucking, let me send this meme to everybody. I did really like him. Obviously, I'm marrying him. But I thought that was so funny that we had like the same view of each other. Like, I perceived that he was obsessed with me and was chasing me. And he perceived that I was like chasing him, which I think is so funny. That's what it takes nowadays. Stop, like, I don't care that the stepbrother was Paul Rudd. It's still her stepbrother. So anyway, don't tell them everything about yourself. Keep it a little mystery. It makes you more interesting. If someone really likes you, they'll find a way to call, even if it's a long distance. Thank God for answering machines. Always have a backup plan. If a date is a bust, you don't want to waste a whole night. Chasing is in the eye of the beholder. A handwritten note goes a long way better than a boring phone call. Don't be too available. Having your own life makes you more attractive. I agree with that too. Someone who has friends and hobbies and interests comes across as more confident, and people want to be around that. Guys, be confident but not cocky. Girls like a guy who knows what he wants. Girls, act a little hard to get. Make him work for it. Men love working. They love it. They'll lie and say that they hate it, but they don't know. They think that they hate it, but they love it. They really do. Don't sleep with someone too soon. People talk and reputations stick. Do whatever you want. Romance still matters. Bring flowers, plan real dates, write love letters. It's worth it. I agree with that. I think that's nice. Call their house late at night just to hang up after one ring so they know someone's thinking about them without you actually having to say it. Little strange. Wow, in a 50-year span, we've gone from fixing their tires to ignoring their calls. We made it, folks. That might have to be chat of the night. That's a good one. Let me give you the good old screenshot. Incredible. Practice your smile and laugh in the mirror before a date to make sure you come off cute and not weird. Oh my God. I feel like I'm giving you guys so much lore about my relationship, which is so rare. I don't really talk about it that often. But one thing that he said on our first date that made me laugh so fucking hard, that like really stuck with me and I thought was like the cutest thing to say. I'm funny. That's why you guys watch me. And on our first date, he goes, "You're really funny." And I was like, "Thank you." And he goes, "Funny people love me because I laugh really easily and really loud." And he nailed it. I love that. If I crack a joke, like, he will laugh so loud and so immediately. And I love that. Like, read me like a fucking book. When talking to your crush, casually bring up other people have a crush on you. Like, yeah, so my coworker who's obsessed with me. Anyway, so moving into the 2000s. It's 2000s, baby. The biggest shift of the 2000s is when dating became more online and sites like Match.com had been around, but the 2000s brought eHarmony and Plenty of Fish and OkCupid, which was more to casual and younger crowds. Because I feel like Match.com and eHarmony are like very serious vibes. Maybe he watched that 80s movie to learn how to read you. Honestly, he probably did, knowing him. Meeting someone online is no longer seen as desperate. It became normal and often even the preferred way to meet, especially for busy professionals. Never order spaghetti on a first date. Otherwise, you risk the run of looking unladylike. I do agree that if you're going to order... But this is also why I don't really like spaghetti noodles, because I think they're just inconvenient. Like, I love, like, a rigatoni or, like, the spirally one or the capitavi one, because they're just easier to eat. Like, a spaghetti is just not conducive to eating very easily. So I would not eat... I would say this is just good advice in general. Not date advice, but just advice. When you know tonight is going to be the night, no matter how nervous you are, have a light breakfast and lunch, and then eat a small healthy snack in the afternoon to up your energy and keep you from keeling over from the Chianti at dinner. Is this saying, like, if you're gonna fuck him, you need to not eat that much? I kind of disagree. I think you should carb load. It's a workout, if you think about it. Cavatappi is goated for real, because it's so fucking good, and it gets the sauce, like, in there. It's perfect. It's the perfect pasta. There's no need for us to keep going. Don't tell him you're hurt or mad, and don't reprimand him from leading you on. You stayed with him. Take responsibility for your actions. That is intense, but I think some people probably needed to hear it. And if you've been living with him, you allowed him to be with you indefinitely without making a commitment. God damn, they didn't say I'm gonna hold your hand or anything. That's a lot. Take up extreme sports. The point here isn't so much that you risk your life, but you actually create more of a life outside of his orbit. I really, really, really like this advice. You stayed with him is so real. Canceling a date because you want to make him jealous is lame, but canceling a date because, hey, you have your karate class tonight and your flying lessons tomorrow is sort of cool. Okay, karate and flying is a lot. That sounds expensive. Once there's something competing for your attention, he begins to wonder how much he really matters in your life scheme. This is what I'm saying when I say men love work. Like, men love working. So if you're busy, it makes them so motivated. All you're doing is filling up your time with cool stuff he might like to do, but you're not including him. He's got to wonder if you're drifting away, and in order to lay claim responsibly to more of your time, he'll have to be explicit about how much time he wants. In other words, he'll have to bring up the talk. I don't think it's that serious, but I get the sentiment they mean. Moving into the 2010s, baby. We are in the future. New dating challenges arose in the 2010s. Ghosting, suddenly disappearing without explanation, became a major issue. You're kind of a bitch if you do this. Had to leave and then come back, and then I got an erectile dysfunction ad. That's hilarious. They really saw what we were talking about. Catfishing, pretending to be someone else online, led to heartbreak and mistrust. MTV's Catfish. Have you guys seen where it was like the cousin, and then the cousin goes, "You never should have called me like a fat ass Kelly Price," or something like that? Do you guys know that episode? I really think it's hilarious. Chat, I'm scared for where we're going. Breadcrumbing and zombieing are other messy behaviors highlighted the emotional pitfall of digital dating. I know breadcrumbing is when you barely give someone attention just to keep them hanging on. What's zombieing? I'll Google it. Zombieing meaning in a relationship. I'm saying it's dead. Oh, someone who ghosted another person and then unexpectedly returns as if nothing happened. That's funny. That's a funny. Please play it as a clip. Okay, I'll find it right now. Catfish. The most iconic Catfish episode. Okay, I want to find a clip that's a minute. A lot of these are 7 seconds or 30 minutes. Okay. This one's 20 seconds. I think that's the best that we're going to get.
Why the f*** would you do that?
So this is the person that got catfished, and I think this is his cousin, or their cousin that did it, but then didn't say, "I'm the one catfishing you," proceeded to support them and go on the show.
You shouldn't never call me a fat ass Kelly Price. You get mad out for that little bitty though. That's up. It's life. Deal with it. Don't talk to me.
It's life, deal with it.
Bring my
Like, imagine catfishing your family member and then they're at this address that was attached to some account. Like, they were really struggling to figure out who the fuck this was.
Why would you do that? Bring my You shouldn't never call me a fat ass Kelly Price. You get mad out for that little bitty.
She's so happy.
That's up. Life. Deal with
And this was for years, I think.
No more, and I mean it.
What voice are you using to talk to him? The Tony voice.
The Tony voice. Oh my god. So, hookup culture thrived in the 2010s, especially among young adults. Terms like situationship became common. Free yourself. Free yourself. And there was a growing openness about sexuality and non-traditional relationship models, like open relationships, polyamory, and friends with benefits arrangements. DMs on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook also became a casual way to flirt or ask someone out. Speaking of, today me and my students were talking about Instagram stories because this girl, we were supposed to be playing Book It, and she was on Instagram, and I was like, that's not Book It, and she was like, my stories won't even load. And then I was telling them how Instagram used to not have stories, and I literally felt like I was like spreading like mysteries of the past, the way that they were locked in. Speaking of, Snapchat has been giving me notifications all fucking day. I'm about to delete this app. Every 2 fucking seconds, I get a notification that some random ass person in my contacts is on Snapchat. Do I want to be friends with them? Do I want to be friends with the contact that says random dude Hinge? No, I don't need to be friends with that person on Snapchat. But anyway, I was telling my students how all the social medias used to be different. Like, Twitter was short words, Snapchat had your stories, and you could see who people were Snapchatting. Instagram was just pictures. Like, it was all just different. It was interesting. And I was like, now I feel like every website is low-key the same website. No more boring dates, no more boring movies or bars or boring people if we can help it. Not every date has to be a rocket trip to a private zoo over the moon, but all of us could stand a little more effort into the locales we choose to do our seducing. Or if that part is over, our entertaining, dating, or what you have. Some things that have worked for me over the past 12 months. I like this so far. Cooking dinner together. I think that is a good date. Book shopping. I think that's good. You curl up on the couch together and read. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think that's a good date. I used to let guys send me several electronic messages back and forth before meeting in person. Then I started realizing that many men are very eloquent online, but too shy or socially awkward to really spark any chemistry in real life. This is exactly what I was saying. And where I was saying, like, when I met Mr. Redacted, I was like, I'm just going to do everything opposite of how I've done it. And normally I would like talk to guys a lot before we actually started dating, like texting them or whatever. And that's why when he called me and was like, let's go on a date this Friday, and this was on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, it was relatively like soon, I was just like, okay, because I had never like done something like that, gone on a date with a literal complete stranger. So that's why I think it is very good to do that, because you go in with no expectations, which I think is the way to go. Then I switched to making sure messages were shorter, and just after a few messages, I would initiate asking to meet for coffee. Not surprisingly, some never wrote back. Others agreed, and we found out during the meeting that we didn't have any chemistry. Better to meet sooner rather than later so that the encounter doesn't drag out and you waste your time writing back and forth. Because I think it's really easy to become obsessed with someone over text message or DM or whatever. Dating online is literally a numbers game. I've done the research and the math. For every 250 likes and matches you get, you'll get one date. Really? Will you change it to Miss MRS Redacted when you get married? No. I already bought the web domain. And I just think Miss looks cuter. Sorry. Where was I? Why would you invest time into becoming emotionally attached to someone through their writing and words if you would never click once when you meet in person? Establish interest in each other and don't drag it out. Get that initial meeting over with as soon as you can, and then just as importantly, never continue dating someone after that first date because you feel bad for them. If they persist, be honest and say, I had a great time, but I just don't see us together romantically. If you need to cut the strings, you need to cut the strings loose immediately. I think this is really good advice. Nothing good can come of the situation, not to mention you're now bringing in a drain on your time and energy. I really, really, really like this advice. Also, the fact that he had the balls to just ask you out like that was a pretty good sign. Yeah. Period. All right, now we're in our current times, the 2020s. The 2020s have continued the trend of dating apps being the primary way to meet new people, and they've also evolved significantly. Hinge's "designed to be deleted" slogan reflects the desire for more meaningful relationships, not just casual flings. Tinder and Bumble remain popular. I hate Bumble. Like I said earlier, I think that men like to work for it, and I think Bumble's principles go against that. I have never ever used it. I downloaded it, matched with a couple people, but I never really enjoyed the app or went out with anyone from it. So I guess I have used it, but I've never been like a user that was going on dates or anything. Very short-lived. Once I saw I had to message first, I was like, I'm kind of out. But Tinder and Bumble are popular. Both platforms are increasingly used for serious relationships alongside casual ones, especially with the enhanced profile features that highlight interest and values. Inclusivity has become a big focus. Apps have made strides in offering more options for gender and sexual identity, allowing users to choose from a wide array of options and pronouns. Niche dating apps for particular interest, identities, or communities have become more popular, including apps like Grindr, Her, OkCupid, and more specific options like Farmers Only or JSwipe. So there's a lot more fucking apps out there. The rise of and misogyny in the 2020s, particularly on platforms like TikTok, has had a significant impact on dating culture, especially in young men. Tate, known for his extreme views on women and relationships, popularized the idea of an alpha male, a man who dominates in his relationships and often at the expense of respect for women. His rise coincided with the COVID pandemic, which led to increased online engagement, allowing his controversial content to spread widely. Misogynistic views have been normalized in some online dating communities, with alpha male rhetoric promoting entitlement, control, and objectification of women. This narrative teaches young men that being dominant, emotionally detached, and controlling is the path to success in relationships, when it is quite, in fact, the opposite. Where was I? I lost my place. Misogynistic views have been normalized in some online dating communities, with alpha male rhetoric promoting I already read that. Sorry. This narrative teaches young men that being dominant... I already read that too. God. TikTok, with its viral shareable content, became a platform where these ideas spread rapidly, influencing dating norms and encouraging unhealthy behaviors in relationships. What I will say is I have seen this in the last 5 years as a teacher. Or like 6 years, I guess, because I took a year off. But anyway, when I taught in 2019, I did not see this as much, but now that I'm teaching, I'm seeing it a lot more. And one thing I will say that is the biggest thing I've noticed, when I taught in 2019, girls were very interested in dating boys. They were very obsessed with boys. They wanted to talk about boys. They wanted to go out with boys. Like, they were very into it. Girls today are very unbothered. They're very, very unbothered. Like, they still will get in relationships, get their heart broken, get their feelings hurt. Like, it still happens. But I've just noticed they do not have the admiration of boys that I saw years ago or when I was in high school. They really think a lot of them are really dumb. And they don't respect a lot of them, which is so interesting to me. And I think it has a lot to do with this. We're not going to watch this. Bye. So, these are some of the pieces of advice. I don't want to give him views. But anyway... If you want to succeed at modern dating, you have to play the game ruthlessly. First, never reply to a text faster than 3 hours, even if you're free, because availability is a weakness. Post thirst traps aggressively after every date to remind them you have options, but don't ever like their posts too fast. Let them sweat. This is horrible. You should absolutely soft launch your relationship immediately, but only show ambiguous body parts like their elbow or shoe. If no one asks who it is, consider ending things. Memorize their old Instagram captions so you can casually quote them later and make them feel seen and stalked at the same time. If they start getting distant, don't communicate like a normal human. Just post cryptic emotional TikToks about healing and focusing on yourself until they get confused and panic text you. Bonus points if you Venmo request them $5 for wasting your time if they cancel a date. And remember, whoever cares less wins. Love is war. Now good luck. That is quite possibly the worst advice we've read the entire time. That is horrible. I don't even want to read this, but I will. If you want to actually win in modern dating, you need to master micro moves. Text them after a date, not just had fun. Reference something super specific you laughed about to make it personal. Always mirror their texting energy, length, speed, and tone for the first 2 weeks. It's subconscious and makes people feel aligned with you. This is so fucking manipulative. This is worse than changing the flat tire one. Set up your dating profile to be 70% about you and 30% what you're looking for, because high quality people are filtering, not chasing. If you're meeting someone, what is this high quality? What does that even mean? My cat keeps waking up thinking I'm opening the garage. If you're meeting someone from an app, suggest a place you already love so you feel confident and in your element. Bring one highly specific story or inside joke material to every date. Something odd but relatable, like the weirdest thing you've ever got at a yard sale, because specific memories create emotional stickiness way faster than generic small talk. But also leave the first date slightly early. Not because you're busy, but because you have an early morning. It frames you as being high value without being rude. Here's your biggest hack. Be warm and direct about your interest early on without over-inventing. It confuses the flaky ones and draws in the serious ones immediately. I met my husband in 2019 and I feel like I got the last chopper out for real. How do you think I feel? 2022. I didn't even get the chopper out. I got out by some miracle. I don't even know. I don't even know what happened. I don't know. So that was horrific. It got worse. I feel like it peaked. When do you guys think it peaked? I don't know. Some of the 30s and 20s had good, or the 20s had some good advice. Why is a politician emailing me thinking I'm my dad? I'm not my dad. It said, hi, my dad's name. That's not me. So anyway, that was a lot. I think some of the advice from the 90s was good. I think a lot of the advice from the 20s was good. The part of this that I was not expecting, but that I actually liked the most, was seeing how historic events influence dating. That was very cool to me. So next week, we will be back on Tuesday next week. Again, I repeat, back on Tuesday next week. And we will be talking about how charities scam. We're going to talk about this from a couple different lenses. We're going to talk about how a lot of wealthy people make fake nonprofits to avoid paying taxes, and those nonprofits don't actually do anything for anyone. We are going to talk about how a lot of charities use all of their money on marketing and internal employees, and most of it does not actually go to help people. We're going to go through some specific charities that have been caught doing terrible things, and then go through kind of the charities that waste all the money and how that works and all that stuff. I think it'll be kind of annoying, but also really interesting and educational, which I think is always a fun time for us. But I do have a little Nearpod game for you, so let me put it up. My computer's been kind of spastic recently. All right. Stop. It keeps glitching and things just move. All right. So let's frickin' do this thing. I wish they had the Valentine's Day theme. I'll put the link in the chat. Oh wait, let me put it in the multi-stream chat. Sorry about that. My head hurts. I'm very hungry. I want dinner. Real dinner, not chips and salsa. Dinner. I was gonna say all I've eaten today, but it actually is kind of reasonable. Is it? I had a little sandwich this morning with cream cheese and smoked salmon on it on a ciabatta roll. So not a big sandwich, a little sandwich. That was at 8. And then at 1, I had a avocado ranch salad with grilled chicken. And then I just ate the chips and salsa at 6:45. And then I had a latte today too. I guess that's enough to not be in medical need, but I am very hungry. I'm glad we're doing the charity thing, because I've always felt there was some real shady shit going on, and I've always been made to feel bad about it. Me too. Oh, we're also going to talk about if you do want to give money, where should you give it? Speaking of where you should give it, you should give it to local individuals. Mutual aid is the only thing we will have when the government falls. And speaking of mutual aid, please donate to Dr. Sofyan's GoFundMe. I spoke with him relatively recently. They are, shocker, not doing that well. Still really fucked up. Wish I had better news to deliver, but unfortunately I don't. If you have already donated, thank you. Please continue to share, post on your stories, all of the things. Oh, I forgot to start you all's game. We'll play the jungle game, because dating is scary. So how are you decorating your background? I actually just sent an email about this today. So this wall, I have a couple things I want to do, and I'm not done with pink. I was done with the pink collage. Pink is never going to be done. So 2 things I'm definitely going to do is 3 things. The on the air sign, the misredacted sign, and then I really want to get the 1970s teacher Barbie and put her on a little shelf. I really want that. So I'm going to do like floating shelves behind me for those 3 things. I might have to scooch my desk a little further forward just to give us some more space. And then I am working with someone who makes custom wallpaper, and I'm going to wallpaper this wall, but I have not decided what to wallpaper it with yet. So if you have any ideas, let me know. And I just emailed someone who makes like the stream graphics for me and asked them if they wanted to help me like figure out what we want to put on there. What I was thinking, have you guys seen on TikTok that girl that is doing like the Miami penthouse room? I loved the wallpaper she did. That's actually where I got the idea. So let me know if you have any ideas. I want something that's like not plain or muted at all, but something a little less intense than a collage. So I guess, no, I haven't reposted it, but if you just search like Miami penthouse bedroom, it'll come up. She has like a whole playlist. So I don't want something muted, but I don't want something busy because I am going to put the shelves. I want you to see those objects. So I don't know, I was thinking about doing like a sunset landscape, kind of like that girl did, or doing just like some graphics and like watercolor pink coloring. Like, I really don't know what I want to do, but I'm very open to ideas. Because like I said, I want to do something fun and cute and pink, but I also want it to be relatively like easy to look at so that you can see the sign on it a little bit better. And I'm also, so this desk is just like a random, next week the 6th. Oh yeah, why does that say 5-2? That's wrong. Sorry, yes, next week the 6th. Sorry about that. That must have been a typo. You don't want the print to be busy. Exactly. What about large amounts of frame pictures instead of the collage? I don't think like a frame is still just going to be busy, I feel. You know? Let me put the link in the chat again, and then it is hot as fuck, so I kind of want to get out of here. Because I also have the door closed, so there's like no air circulation. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking. I think I have. Let me see if I have it on Canva. I was like, this is not done by any means, but I was just kind of like noodling and thinking. I can't find it. I probably didn't title it as anything. That sounds like me. Nope. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Oh well. Win some, you lose some. All right, there's 15 of you. That's enough for a good time. Let's play our frickin' game. The flat that needs to be changed. Kathy Griffin's iPod. And if you have not joined the game, it will let you join late, and the code is still at the top. You just have to Google Nearpod. You'll figure it out. I believe in you. What about a general baby pink background, like a wallpaper with the shelves on it? That's what I was thinking. I really want to find this thing on Canva. Like, I know it's here somewhere. New window. I kind of hate, Canva got an update and I feel like it's a lot harder to use now. Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. Is this the vibe? Let me put that link in and I will tell you if that's the vibe. Something kind of like that. Maybe not that intense, but something kind of like that. I'll show you guys once you're done playing the game. So let me show you my like inspo photo. Once you're done with the game, I'll show you my various ideas. Oh, some of these are cute. I'll show you guys all my various inspiration photos in a moment. No, I don't want to open that link. Like, I'm just ignoring you guys while you play the game like you're my class. Showing open affection was seen as a show of bad taste. Oh, we should have put the decades on the question. Oh well, y'all will figure it out, you're smart. Why was wearing a Band-Aid considered clever? I love this little phone suction cup thing I have, even though it kind of falls down a lot. It's so fun to fidget with. I literally can't breathe, it's so hot in here. If a man has too many loose buttons on his clothes, you ignore us during the game as I ignore my booty calls as a dating power move. That's funny. Oh my god. Sorry, I just accidentally made something full screen. That was strange. The double eye wink. My glasses are dirty. It's a mess. Every time I take my glasses off, I'm really jarred by how blind I am. And I think I'm about to get my period. And I'm going to Alabama this weekend. So much is happening. Sorry, I can't read. A bold dating suggestion was... When sharing about yourself early on, you should brag a lot. I think you should. Sorry, someone posted about their work return to office thing and I was being nosy. I have not seen Kathy Griffin's new YouTube show. Kathy Griffin has a new YouTube show? Why am I not on it? Last question. Also, turnout tonight was pretty good for it being a Wednesday. Whenever I switch days, it always affects turnout, which is understandable. A clever way to meet eligible men. I don't know what to eat. Nothing sounds appealing to me right now. I want like junk food. Alrighty. Who are our winners? A Wawa Hoagie line in first place. Double eye wink. Kamika, Kathy Griffin's iPod, Meg, Vicky, a karate class parking lot, the flat that needs to be changed. Nice job, everybody. Girl, it's called Talk Your Head Off. It's basically her just being funnies and telling stories like normal. I'm obsessed with it. Ooh, I do need to watch that. All right, any memes, anything to add, anything to share, and I will show you some of my inspiration photos for the wallpaper. Again, this is not what will be printed. This is inspiration. So one, I really like this. And let me kind of explain. So it's a wall with a window in the middle. So I was thinking maybe not the Barbie logo, but like a sky with like some pink graphics on it. that might be cool. Here's another thing that I literally just found, but now I can't find it. There it is. This picture is gorgeous. Like, I really like this color scheme with like the pink and blue. I think that's really pretty. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know. Because again, there is this big ass window in the middle. And then you guys wouldn't see the whole wallpaper. You would just see what's on this side of the window. So that's why I'm thinking of doing something with like a graphic on one side. So one side of the window will have the shelves and the other side will have the graphic of the wallpaper. And then also, I don't know where this photo is, but this looks like the stands on Miami Beach, and I used to live in Miami, so that's also just kind of like sentimental and fun to me. But yeah, oh, we have memes. Kathy Griffin's iPod. Me ready for my Tinder date, ready for my Farmers Only date. Me pulling up on the newly widowed man after checking the local obituary. I also feel like that's something Angela would do. It really is. This was so fun. This is always one of the highlights of my week. I like being on here. I can just like focus on this and have a nice time. We are meeting on Tuesday the 6th, not the 2nd, talking about how charities scam, but